Okay, hello everyone. This is SIG Scalability meeting at 12 September. And it seems like we have a single item today on the agenda, but I don't see the author of it. Do we have Olivia or not? So if you have any other topics, we can discuss them. Okay, complete challenges. Okay,
Yeah,
let's
hey,
go. Oh, hey.
hey, I'm Andrew, just chiming in. I don't really have a topic. I'm just here I work with Red Hat on the OpenShift performance and scale team. There's a few of us have been, like we've talked about kind of joining the SIG for a while. And so I'm here to just start doing that for our team. But I think we have some overlap. So we'd like to kind of get integrated and share experiences on Kubernetes scale. But that's all I really have for today. I didn't have anything specific.
Okay. So where do we start? Okay, I'll just add one more topic. So you just want to talk generally about Kubernetes scalability, right? And
Uh,
how you can leverage that in OpenShift.
and no, I just wanted to introduce myself and introduce our
Oh, okay,
team.
okay.
We are doing, yeah, we're doing similar things. So I think we're gonna try to start getting more involved, and that's all. There's a couple other guys who are in Europe time, who couldn't make it today. Yeah, that was it.
Okay. Okay, so David, do you want to start with your topic?
Yeah, sure. Just
Is it just like
new to just do.
open-ended question?
Yeah, it's pretty open-ended. I mean, we've had like Matt Boersma, I think, did some PRs to kind of just get some basic things, one or two PRs just to get some things working. We have Jonathan um has started doing some perf testing for the 100 node test on Azure, which brought up last week. But yeah, I just wanted general questions of like where there's a need in general for help with the SIG. If there's anything that comes to mind, great. If not, then okay.
Yeah, I think there are many ideas, and I think we do have kind of like the contributor guidelines where what are the areas that anyone can contribute to. And on top of my head, I think there is perf test. So essentially all our infrastructure that runs the test, right? So first of all, like there's lots of things to do there, like starting with like improving our tooling, to covering more SLOs, working on the new SLOs as well. Um, so that's kind of like, from the testing and scalability point of view, the whole infrastructure is itself quite a big project. And then I think the other point of view is improving scalability of Kubernetes. So in this area, usually what happens is that someone has some particular use case. And for example, they want to increase, let's say, the pod churn available or the pod churn possible in Kubernetes. And usually what happens is they are running the scalability test, finding some bottlenecks, and then fixing those. So those are kind of like two main areas, I think. And yeah.
Okay. And are those are those for the SLOs? I mean, I saw there's in your doc, there's an extended Kubernetes scalability SLOs. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, actually not. I think because I don't even have access apparently to it. So I can link. So we have this whole page. Let me share it. Yeah, and essentially here we have like the whole SLOs part where we care about API call latency, DNS latency, network latency, pod startup latency, watch latency. And as you can see, some of them are like very, very old, and some of them were never officially graduated to be official SLOs. So it depends like what kind of area you are interested in, but definitely the coverage of SLOs is something that we could definitely improve on, but both from documentation point of view, but also from coverage within our scalability testing. So that's like one example.
That makes sense. That might tie into the second question I have, which is the organization to the perf tests. Like, it just seems there's a lot of different tests out there, and just what, is there the categorization, and is everything mapped to SLOs? Like, what's the is there anybody who's kind of scrubbed through them and said, are we testing more than we need? Because obviously there's a budget for perf testing, especially on the community budgets for all the cloud providers. I'm just wondering, yeah, those are
yes. Actually, around budgeting, we had quite a lot of conversations, I believe, mostly last year, and the reason was that we were actually running close to the budget. So, for example, in terms of like GCP, we reduced the amount of tests from like running every day to running every second day. But then we introduced AWS because we had additional credits to run AWS. So definitely this is some concern in terms of budgeting. But it depends essentially on like what are the available credits and what's the budget that we are having right now.
Okay, yeah. I guess I was just thinking about like, just because there's tons of perf tests there, and then you've got the SLOs, and then I was just trying to see if there's some kind of mapping to SLOs or some kind of way to start to, put my mind around all the perf tests that you have.
Okay, yeah. So I think the main tool for us that we use. Okay, so this is essentially PerfDash, which allows us to, like one thing is running the tests and verifying SLOs, but then, for example, pod startup latency SLO is like 5 seconds, and the current SLI is 3 seconds. So we also care about the regressions that do not fail the SLO. So, for example, we can go to 5,000 node test end to end, and pod startup latency and full latency, and essentially we can see like what's the current state of this particular SLI in this case. So we know that the SLO is 5 seconds, and our current testing shows it's 2.6 seconds essentially. And there is lots of metrics that you can explore here, even like CPU usage, memory usage. They're obviously like,
yeah, so you definitely have, there's definitely a ton of stuff here. I guess I just, because it's just kind of trying to unmap. So like right now you just, because you got like, oh well, the SL is 5 seconds, so we track this. So like just trying to put into mind like are there a lot of things in here that maybe aren't mapped to an SLO that we're just doing anyway? For instance, right? Or how can I know which stuff on the perf dashboard is mapping to what the objective is and what we're tracking? And, you know, is this something that's an official? Is it a not official? You know, like these are all the questions that are
yeah, I think so. Regarding the first question with the mapping, I think there is no official documentation. It's kind of just the knowledge of people involved in SIG scalability, but I would be totally happy to improve that documentation to make it more accessible. And the usage of those metrics and the dashboards is usually mostly for development of Kubernetes. So, you know, before each release, we double check that the SLOs that we care about, that we publish, did not, even like SLIs did not regress during the development cycle, essentially. Does this answer your question?
Yes, but then like let's just say I want to start to try and figure these out and map them, then versus just show up and, you know, say, hey,
Yeah.
explain to me each metric, like where does it map? Like that's not gonna work, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think we could definitely work on it. If you're interested, like, yeah,
I think it would just
like,
be
at least
trying to understand how to start on the mapping. Like if I understand the framework of, I mean, obviously there's one thing of just getting something to show up and have it be there, but then there's another of trying to map that to SLOs, SLIs, and why is this test running at all, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think it definitely makes sense. And I think if you are interested in this particular area, I believe we could collaborate on that and document, you know, what are the most important metrics that we care about from the tests, where can you find them, how they are measured, if that's something that you're interested in.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be interesting to know. Yeah, like I think it would be useful just for knowing what tests we actually are really tracking to look at before gating mechanisms for Kubernetes, right? And then having some mechanism to know, I mean, do you have alerts, for instance, if things go over the threshold, or is it somebody manual, every release cycle, somebody manually going in and looking and saying, oh, this one doesn't meet it, or this one does, this, you know what I mean? Is that the process, or is there automation there?
Okay, so there's, I would say it's half automated, which means like if it, you know, goes over the SO, then we are getting alerted with emails. If it's just slight regression, then we are not getting alerted, right? So,
okay.
If there is like non-significant, like if there is non-significant regression, then essentially we would need to spot it by ourselves.
Okay. Yes. So where are the ones that are gating and that are giving you alerts, and where are the ones that are gating that aren't giving you alerts, perhaps that we have to manually check? I mean, this ties into the same question of importance of mapping, right?
Sorry, what was the question? Could you repeat again?
So you told me, right, that some of the perf tests, they will alert you when they're over the SLO. Some of them will not alert you when they're over the SLO, and you have to manually check them. Like, how do you know?
Okay, I meant that. Okay, so if it goes over SLO, we are alerted always.
Oh, okay.
But if there is regression that doesn't, you know, breach the SLO, then we will not be alerted. And that's something that we usually check manually before the release.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, I gotcha. That makes sense. And where can we find the ones that are set up for the SLO? Because that will probably help with the mapping. Like, where's the automation for the ones that do go over the SLO?
Okay, so essentially, this is hard-coded within the test. And The biggest test, I mean, the most important test that we are running is the load test. So here's the load test, and it consists of multiple modules. But for example, there is a pod startup latency, and within the test itself, it's encoded that if it reaches over 5 seconds, then it will just fail the test. So it's within the test itself.
Okay.
And
Okay.
like here's the place where you could find the main test that we're running for Kubernetes.
Okay.
Like within the repository, there is also a README file and kind of like tutorial getting started to understand the structure of the testing framework as well, to make it easier to start developing your own tests as well.
Yeah, that's what Jonathan has started on. He's got one working there. Okay. What about the mapping? Is there a mapping to the SLOs?
As I mentioned, there's no like direct mapping where you can find in perf or in the test or to the SLO. That's something we could definitely improve. Or like which metrics do we care mostly about? Because we collect way more data than than it's actually necessary.
Yeah.
Especially in perf.
Yeah.
But always it depends like on the point of view what you are interested in. Some people are interested in different areas of Kubernetes, and one person can be interested in DNS latency, where scalability could be more interested in pod startup latency or API call latency.
Yep. Okay, one other topic I'll put on here, since we don't, I mean, if anyone else has something, feel free, but
Well, I don't know the answer, but I would be guessing there is quite significant interest, although I don't have any like specific data on that.
Okay, we don't have any right now necessarily in the that are in there. Okay. Okay. Well, it's out there on the agenda, so for folks who are interested, they can reach out, maybe collaborate. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I have anything else. I mean, I'm happy to. There's Morgan on my team as well, who is going to probably be helping in the space. But I think she and/or I would be open to help with the, the mapping of the test data, what's important, and those kinds of things. Because I think that would tie back to your top item, which is infrastructure tooling covering more SLOs. So, like, to know what we're covering more SLOs, it's good to know like these ones. I mean, they're official, but like starting to map, what's there in place, and prioritizing maybe which, if you want more SLOs, which ones are perhaps the most important ones to add, right?
Yeah, and then also mapping to our testing and the dashboards to even be able to easily check like what's the current state on the development, right? For
yeah,
SLO.
like for instance, just like linking, if you have an SLO, it's official. It's like, okay, well, if there's a URL or a like link, you can view it. That would be nice.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. Yeah. I think the easiest way to collaborate on that would be, creating a GitHub issue, and then also potentially just on Slack if you have any questions.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's you know, if the source of truth is the thing you mentioned, the SLO link you have there in the doc, where's the it's on your main page, but yeah, you have like you know, the ones that are official and the SLOs, yeah, the SLOs with all the markdown docs, right? The API call-ins, the API extensions, latency, all these SLIs. I think it would be trying to then find them, I guess, manually on the perf dashboard.
Yeah,
And
that's exactly like for us, it's kind of like natural where to look, right? Because we already done that multiple times before the releases. But for someone not familiar with the perf dash, for example, it definitely takes some time to figure it out, like where is where.
right, yeah. So I don't. I mean, maybe if you start to have a working session for 1 or 2 or 3 metrics, then like the pattern will click to have a new person find the correlation of where those are.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Do we have any other topic? Okay, thank you all, and see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
So yeah, thanks. Bye-bye.